Hey Maggie, Mr. Hicks here. Been trying to figure a few things out and wanted to pass on what I've discovered and what I'm thinking. If you're like me, you're probably at the point of being like, okay, we need to just nail this down. And I think we're getting very close to that. I also think that having the piece in the near future for the new camera will be a key part to that moving forward. Because we obviously have a lot, and at some point we just need to make it happen. And I think you've been doing awesome with getting us closer and closer to that, and hopefully this next step will be as well. So if we're gonna shoot them a little bit darker, I think we create a preset that gets it where we want it to be. I don't think that's a bad idea to shoot at. This one's f13, so I'm gonna just increase the exposure a little bit. I'm going to, what am I going to do here? Make sure, anything that you want to adjust in here you can. If it's too red, we can bring it down a little bit. But we also want to do the lens correction. Okay, so this is where I think we kind of start to make some things happen that are pretty critical. The more I'm getting into this, the more we're doing this, the more I think we have to do almost everything in Lightroom. Taking it over to Photoshop, I mean, we may have to do it still a little bit, but if we can do almost everything in Lightroom with a very streamlined process, that's going to be the best way to go. So we're going to do a mask of the background. That looks great right there. I'm going to turn the blacks all the way down, maybe just bring it back a little bit so that stays in there. I'll turn this on. Okay, so let's bring the shadows down a little bit, and we'll say blacks again. Okay, so what next? I came across this tool here. We're going to turn off that. This tool here, if you go to the little brush or the little eraser, visualize spots. If we make that background really dark, we should take care of almost everything on the outside. But I can zoom in here, and you see all that kind of wood grain and stuff. But I can zoom in, and it fixes things for me. It shows me what spots are still showing up really clearly on the areas that we want to take care of them. And all this I'm not even going to worry about because that's out of the picture. When you're looking at this, you'll be able to see all of these little teeny ones. I'm going to say are not an issue. But anything major. I can also look over here, and if there's something that looks like it might be a big issue over here, I can click on that. But for the most part, I'm just going to do the outside this way, and then I'm going to do remove. I don't know that we might be able to uncheck use generative AI, but that's something that we can do there. Let that finish. Okay, and we will then, as soon as that's done, yeah, try that unchecking the use generative AI. I bet it'll go quicker. So then we uncheck let's see where it is. Uncheck visualize spots. I'm going to come over here. Now, I'm going to crop this over here. I'm going to set it to 1:1 ratio. And what I'm going to do, all of this is, none of this deletes the pixels, right? So you can eyeball it the best you think it makes sense. So maybe somewhere in this range. I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm not going to worry about the little bit of blur or the gradient here. I'm just going to say we're going to do this, but here's where the magic happens. On the image, I'm going to right click or two finger click, settings, copy settings. We'll copy all this, and I'm going to save this mask and copy that. And then I can click on this first image, hold shift, click on this. I'm going to two finger click or right click. I'm going to go to develop settings, paste settings. It's going to take a minute, especially if there's a whole bunch of them. And it might still need a tweak, right? But that tweak is almost there, right? So then maybe you just move it a little bit to where you want it to be. You can click here to compare images. Unfortunately, you can't crop them to compare them. But so like here, you can see, maybe we'll have to figure that out. But it gives us the basic size, and honestly, again, there comes a point where it just says it's going to exit reference view where you're comparing. Whereas as long as it's really close, kind of like I think what you were saying today, as long as it's really close, we say, yeah, that looks awesome, right? Nobody's going to compare if it's just a little bit in a slightly different spot. So then I hit return, and then that's good to go. If I missed an image here, oh, it looks like it just hasn't updated the thumbnail or something. But in any event, then we export these. So export them as a batch. The little bit that I think we do in Photoshop, I'll try to wrap this up here for you soon. I think we create an action for, and the next time we're working together, I will help you do that. But it will already be imported, looking basically. This isn't one that from today, but it'll basically be the resolution, the crop that we want it to be. That black will all be there. You can, oh yeah, in Lightroom, you can do the eraser, and that looks a little bit blue to me right now, but you can do the eraser. Again, don't go crazy with the spots, but if there is something that's a distraction, you can take care of that. So back in Photoshop, we create an action. We'll create an action together. All it will do is it will automatically create the gradient at the bottom. It will blur the whole layer. And then, here, we'll get rid of that. It will blur the whole layer. I'm thinking we just do it the slightest bit. If it gets too blurred, I think it starts to look a little bit fake. So just enough to soften the dust. The action will automatically create a mask that will be set to be hidden. And then all we need to do is take that polygonal lasso tool. I would recommend zooming in and getting it right on that like shadow line. And then if this is set to white, we finish that off. We hit delete. Again, if the background color is set to white, then that will show up. And then we've got our image. If we need to come over to our gradient, we can do a quick adjustment of it. I also think I added this here. We can make that reflection whatever we want it to be. At this point, if we have some images that we think are good and we want to do this from here on out, I think we're okay with that. But I think moving forward, I think that this will make a big difference. And again, this will all be set up with basically run the action. We'll make those edits, we'll save them. Over here, yeah, that looks way too cool there. Over here, it will have the black, it'll have the crop, it'll have the spots, at least on the sides, taken care of, and anything in here. So, sorry that took 10 minutes, but I think you got this. Feel free to reach out, text or call if you are stuck or if something didn't make sense. Take care.